always run the ball, but this year you're about 61%. Is that the vision you had when you started the program?
Well, I mean, I've always been a guy that has always tried to gear ourselves toward balance. You know, I think the best football teams can have some balance built into what they do, and I think the best teams can run it when they need to, and you know, sometimes, and then the best teams can throw it when they want to. And throw it when they have to, you know. And so we've always also been a team that tell us what you're going to give us, and we're going to take that. You know, we're going to take what you give us. And if you're going to be a team that's like last week, that's going to line up and just say, hey, you're not going to throw the ball down the field, and see if you can put some drives together, especially when you've got the ball on the 10-yard line. And so we're going to give you the numbers to run, but let's see if you're good enough to do it. Well, I love the fact that we can run the ball for 342 yards. Against tough physical people, and so that is definitely. I think we from day one. I think you have to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to stop the run. If you can't, you're in for a long season. You know, when you can run the football, then you have explosives that come off of that. Now again, there's certain times where I don't know who we played last year. I guess it was Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh, but they just weren't going to let us run the ball. I mean, so we're not going to sit there and be stubborn. We're going to take advantage of what they're giving us an opportunity to do, and I think we had 630 yards. I think we threw the ball for like 580 yards. But that's what that game dictated. But over the course of a season and the end of the year, I would like to look back and see some type of balance, because I think that makes you tough to defend, and I think it creates confidence in your offensive players that you can do what you need to do in whatever situation to win a game. And if you're too one-dimensional, in my opinion, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to be good enough to take that away. And but you know, as of now, after 4 games, you know, I'm really pleased with how we've been able to run the football.
Dabo, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, how do you think Foster has adapted to sort of the new age spread?
Well, you know, I think he was kind of always a little bit ahead anyway. He's always been that 4-2-5 kind of a guy. He's always played a hybrid scheme. So from a personnel standpoint, I think he was kind of always there. I just think he's tried to recruit more athletic guys, longer guys that can do, you know, play in space. And you look at some of these corners they've had some big time corners, you know, come out of there. And this is a really good secondary that we're getting ready to play. And I'm very impressed, you know, with their back 7 guys, and then the guys up front. You know, they don't have quite the depth, because they've got some young guys as a part of their depth, but their first, you know, 5 or 6 guys, really, really good players.
You feel like these are maybe 2 of the top defensive coordinators in the country with what Venables and what Foster's been able to do?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, their background speaks for itself. I mean, they're certainly 2 of the best, if not the best. I mean, I think consistency is what you look for. You know, be great at something, you got to do it for a long period of time and be very consistent. And Brent is the epitome of that, and so is Bud. Two outstanding coaches.
How do you come out, especially against a Bud Foster defense, and be the offense that showed up in the fourth quarter last week, or that was there for the Louisville game, as opposed to the offense that was held to 7 points for much of the BC game? Yeah,
well, I think first thing we've got to do, we've got to you know, run our offense within the scope of what the defense is allowing. We've got to be good decision makers, and you know, it starts with our quarterback. He kind of makes us go, that's for sure. We've got to win the matchups up front. We got to get them identified. This is a different scheme than what we saw last week. So they've got some exotic type of different stuff where you've got to do a good job of identifying these guys. Sometimes they'll drop and play coverage from a certain look, and sometimes from that same look, you know, here they're coming. And you know, they'll give you anything from cover 3 to robber to cover 0, and you have to be able to identify that, and you know, play fast, play with tempo, take care of the ball. You know, that's that hurt us last week. Had a couple of turnovers, and wasn't able to finish on a couple of those drives because of it. So you got to take advantage of your opportunities against a defense like this. And go back and look at it last year. We played pretty good most of the stretch of the game, but they did a heck of a job. Toward the end, they made some adjustments, and then we had a turnover. Had a big special teams play. They busted a big play on our defense. Next thing you know, you're fighting for your life. So just taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. You got to make it count. So he don't give you a whole lot.
Traditionally, many teams play with 5 offensive linemen. Y'all are different. You're rotating. Last time I checked, I think you have 8 with 98 snaps or more. How do you do that?
Just play them. Put them in there. I mean, we got good players, and they deserve to play. I mean, we got a bunch of guys that could go and start for us. I wouldn't even hesitate. Ankrum and Pollard have both started. They're both starters in my mind, and they both deserve to play. So they're going to get their opportunities to play. They work hard, practice. They're committed guys. Taylor Hearns played great at guard. John Simpson he's a great player. He probably had his best game this past week. He played 30-something snaps, I believe. So, that's just what we do. Taylor Hearn jumps out there and plays some tackle, and he's a very good tackle. So, we've got good depth and good. That's one of the things I said in the preseason. I think we're going to have more depth, flexibility, and versatility in our offensive line than we've ever had. So I'm really, really pleased with that group. But we just play them. We believe in them. So it's not like we're just waiting to play a guy when we've got a lead. We play them in critical situations, and you've seen that with a lot of positions on this team this year. That's one of the things that I think we're blessed with is we got a bunch of functional guys that can go play. So that we trust.
And in speak.
Coach, yesterday, Coach Wedge liked your offense to try and defuse a bomb. One wrong snip of the wire and boom, your hands get blown off. I'm curious your thoughts on that analogy and how would you describe Virginia Tech's offense?
That sounds just like Justin. I think that we're a good team. He's a coach, and he's getting ready to play a good team, just like I'm a coach, and I'm getting ready to play a great team. We're two teams that are still undefeated, and two teams that pride themselves on trying to play well. And so, same thing for us. If we're with all, especially with their offense, they got guys going everywhere, and if you don't have your eyes on the right thing, if you're peeking in the backfield and you're distracted by all the stuff that's going on, there goes that tight end on the swap boot right behind you, and you're running up, on a run fake, and it's a big play. It's the same. I'd say it's the exact same. We've got to do a great job, and you got to be right where you need to be. Your eyes have to be where they need to be. Your alignment has to be where it needs to be, and the same thing on the offensive side. We've got to all be on the same page, because just as soon as you don't, your quarterback's hit. You've got a turnover, and so it's a really good matchup.
Even though Evans and Ford and Hodges are gone, can you guys still use that last year's ACC title game as kind of a roadmap for how to defend Justin's style of offense?
Well, it's a different team for sure. Both teams were different. There's no question about that. But they still do a lot of the same things. We still do a lot of the same things. You got to be able to stop it. I think anytime you play people, you have a little bit of familiarity with personnel and things like that. But it's still a different team, both ways. And it's really all about this game.
Coach, with Alex, is his range on field goals pretty close to Hugel's? I know he made a 51-yarder in August, but I imagine you wouldn't want to put him in there for a long field goal early in the game on the road in a place like that.
Yeah, he's made. I think the longest he's made in practice is maybe 53, but he's got plenty of leg to do what we need to do, and but that's about depending on what we needed and where we are in the point of the game, but that's probably his limit there.
Dabo, were you a little surprised the other day? You guys struggled a little bit on offense. Did you had some groans coming out of the crowd the other day? Did that surprise you a little bit?
No, I said that. I said they booing us, boys. They booing us. It's used to seeing explosiveness and things like that, but it just wasn't that type of day. and again, field position, and you know, it just comes with the territory. It really does. I mean, but I'm never going to apologize for a win, and I'm never going to allow our players to not appreciate a win. Now, fans don't appreciate it, and that's their decision. But I know this from the guys in that locker room, we're going to always appreciate how hard it is to win. And 3-2, 69, 68, they all count the same. You move on to the next one, and you try to get better each and every week. And you know, other teams have good players, good coaches, full scholarships, pride, off-season programs. There's a lot that goes into it. But I loved that game Saturday. I loved it. I mean, I really did. And what happened in the fourth quarter was a result of the first three quarters. I mean, it was